Hi everyone, this is Eric from Dumb Game Dev, and today we're going to be talking about using Unity events with Playmaker. And in this case, we're going to be looking at VRTK events specifically, but this applies to any Unity events. Now, you're probably wondering what Unity events are if you're using Playmaker, as we don't normally use them a whole lot. That being said, they're a little more common in C# scripting. And what it does is just as a way to send an event or a message, just like in Playmaker. But in this case, instead of doing it just by code that we can't see, it's done in the inspector panel. And so I'll show you what that is. Now I've got my project open and I already have VRTK in it, and I also have Playmaker, of course, and I have my Playmaker VRTK Actions, but you don't actually even need those to follow along here. So I've just organized my asset folder. It's in the third party and we have VRTK. Now I've gone ahead and opened up the legacy example files, and I've opened up number 5, which is the controller basic object grabbing. Now I'm just using this scene because it's super simple, it's pre-made for us, we don't need to spend a lot of time setting anything up. So go ahead and open up the scene if you want to follow along, but this is pretty darn simple. You probably don't even need to follow along with this one if you're familiar with Playmaker. Okay, so I have this scene open, and in it we have a bunch of different cubes that you can grab using your controllers. Now I'm going to find this first cube, and to find it in the hierarchy, just put your mouse here and tap F, and it will find it for you, so we can just grab it and then check out the inspector. Now, what if we want to do something with this without having to do any programming? We could use the actions that I've created, the VRTK actions, and there is probably a VRTK object action, or maybe a controller one, or interaction. I don't even remember what it is. Something like get grabbed object status. So this will tell us if something's been grabbed or not. And this is one way to do it, but it does have to run on every frame and it has to be set up in a specific way. But what if we wanted to do this without using this? So what we can do is we're just going to create a new Playmaker FSM on this object that we're grabbing. I'm just going to go add component and type FSM and push enter, and now we have a new Playmaker component here. And here's where the magic comes in. So VRTK comes with Unity events pre-built in. And this is what a Unity event looks like. So we're going to search for one. We have VRTK interactable object. So I'm going to choose add component. And I'm going to type VRTK space. And I'm just going to type Unity, short for Unity events. And these are all the Unity events that come with VRTK. And lots of different store assets come with different Unity events pre-set up for you, just because they're sort of easy to use. Okay, so we're going to look for, this one's called VRTK interactable object. So if we look down, VRTK interactable object, and it's cut off, but it says Unity events. Let's grab that. And now we have a whole list of events that we can use here for this object, such as on object enabled, on object disabled, when it's have a near touch, untouch, touch, untouch, on grab, ungrab, on use, unuse, snap, exit, etc. So you can read through these. And now we can use these straight into Playmaker. So for example, this cube, when I grab the cube, I want it to do something. Maybe change a color. And when I ungrab, I want it to also do something. So it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to go down to, say, grab and ungrab and hit the plus key. I'm going to do it for both at the same time. And we want this to be runtime only. Now we need to send this event to somewhere. Well, where do we want to send it? To this FSM. And I can't really grab the FSM and drag it in there easily. So what I'm going to do is just grab the whole game object, which works fine, and drag that in there. So we'll do it for both. Now we can run a function, or a method, as we call it in C#. And the one that I want to run is on this Playmaker FSM. We want to do something to the FSM. And if we look at the list of all the different functions that are available to us, we can look for send event. So we're going to choose send event. I'm going to do this for both. And you can see here it changed to the Playmaker FSM symbol, so you know it's on the right one. send event. You can see this one's changed. And now we can send any event name we want. It doesn't have to be a specific name. You could call it gobbledygook number 123. I'm actually just going to use the actual names just to keep things straight for myself. So this is not necessary, but this is how I like to keep track of what's going on. So on grab. And now we have to go over to the FSM. And you can see there's already a start state. And my start state, I'm not going to use anything. I'm just going to have a do nothing. So we'll go there when we start. And now I'm going to create two other states. So this one, I can call it whatever I want. I'm just going to call it grab. And we'll call this one maybe not grabbed. And we're going to create two events that match these events in name exactly. So you need to make sure they have the exact same name. So we'll call it on grab, and we'll make another one called on grab. And capitals matter, spaces matter. Okay, they don't need to be global events. We don't need to check this, but we do need to set them up over here. So I'm going to right-click my mouse, choose global transition, and choose on grab. Then for here, I'm going to do the same thing, right-click, add global transition, on ungrab. Okay, lastly, I want to add some sort of actual action here so we can see that something's going on. And I'm just going to choose, say, set material color. So you can just search that, set material color, push enter to add it here. Going to add another one here. And say when we grab it, we're just going to make it, I don't know, purple color. And when we ungrab, I'm going to make it a nice red color. So now we already have it set up. That's all we have to do. You probably want to go File, Save that scene, and then let's hit play and see how this works. So as you can see, that worked pretty straightforward for us. We didn't need to use any special VRTK actions in this case. We didn't need to set up an action here that waits for every frame, which is not always a great thing to do. We can also very easily listen to or listen for a bunch of different events at any place. So we don't have to have them all stacked into one place, into one state. We can have a whole bunch that can interrupt each other very easily. So that ability to interrupt other states is really important here. If we had this as a circle of events, that works something like this. And we did not have these transitions here. And we weren't using these VRTK events here. Now we would need to add an action here to listen to an event of grab, and we'd have to have one here for ungrab. And then, what if we had three states and we had these all flowing to each other? It would be even more complicated to be listening for these events in all three states, or if we had 20 states or 30 states, we'd have to be listening in all of those states for grab and ungrab, and it just becomes a little bit unrealistic. So by using Unity events, we can interrupt these states much easier. So again, Unity events are not specific to just VRTK. Unity events are in lots of different assets that are out there. If they're not, maybe ask the asset creator if they can make a couple Unity events for them. Really, it's not that much work to create Unity events. They're pretty straightforward and they're pretty fast, which is really great. So that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the YouTube channel comments. Again, also visit our unofficial Playmaker Slack chat channel, and the link to that will be below here in the YouTube comments as well. Okay, happy deving everyone.